One of the most important tools that we are going to be using while we are rigging is the outliner. Of course, you might have heard of the outliner. It's basically a list of all the objects that are in the scene. To access the outliner, you're going to click on Windows, Outliner, and that brings up this little window that I'm going to keep here to the side at all times. Now very soon we are going to be having lots and lots of objects in the viewport. We'll have joints inside of geometry. We'll have IK handles and all these new objects that we might or might not have heard of. Selecting those objects in the viewport, it's going to become very, very difficult. So the outliner is going to help us sort things, organize things, rename things, and be able to select them properly. So let's keep this here to the left. One of the most important things that you need to know about Maya is that the software tries to hide things from you. Of course, there is so much happening in the back, behind the scenes of Maya, that unleashing all that information upon everybody who's using Maya just seems unreasonable. So because there is a lot happening behind the scenes, Maya tries to sort of put a cover on top of all of that by hiding certain pieces of information from you, which Maya thinks it's not important for you to know. Now, getting to know this as a rigger particularly is very important, because as you get to know about these pieces of information, you can unlock him and you can also manipulate him. Okay, one such information is that any given object, let me go ahead and create a cube. Any given object that you create in Maya, in this particular case a polygonal cube, or let me rephrase, almost any given object in Maya is made up of two parts. It's made up of two parts, two components, or two nodes. That is really what the word is. Yeah, and the two nodes are transform node and shape node. Okay, transform node and shape node. So almost any given object in Maya is made up of a transform node and shape node. The transform node is responsible for the transformations of the object. Shape node is responsible for the shape of the object. Now let me give you a very simple explanation for what that really means. Okay, when I select the object, I get to see all these right here: translations, rotations, scale, and visibility. These right here are called as transformations, attributes, or channels. Those are three different terms for exactly the same things. Okay, now I want you to see that there is a name that all of these are listed underneath of. These transformations are listed underneath of p cube 1. So p cube 1 is not only the name of the cube, it's the name of the transformation node, or rather the transform node of the cube. So remember that that is not the name of the object anymore. That, or that for that matter here in the outliner, is actually the name of the transform node, because the transform node is responsible for the transformations of the object. So I'm messing around with translate X, translate Y, translate Z, any of the translates. If I'm messing around with the rotates, I'm scaling the object. I'm messing with the visibility. I'm actually messing with the transform node of the object. Okay, the second part is the shape node, and we told ourselves that the shape node is responsible for the shape of the object. What that means is that if you actually come to think about the shape of this particular cube, it is defined by the position of its vertices. Okay, so if I press F9, I can actually go into the vertex mode. I can go into these vertices, select them and move them around, if you will. Now I'm actually editing the position of the vertices. But really what I'm editing is the shape node of the object. The position of the vertices, the information regarding the position of the vertices is kept within the shape node. So when I'm actually in the F9 mode, or the vertex mode, and if you look up in the channel box, you see that I'm not editing p cube 1. I'm editing p cube shape 1. That is the shape node of the object. Okay, so let me press F8 again, just coming back into the object mode. See, that is the name of my transform node, and right here underneath of this little uh, sort of section called shapes, p cube shape 1 is the name of the shape node. I want you guys to be able to distinguish between the transform node and the shape node by the end of this. Okay, remember when I actually go into the vertex mode or edge mode, face mode, UV mode and such, I'm actually messing around with the shape of the object. Okay, so transform node and shape node right there. Now why is it that I'm not able to see the shape node here in the outliner? That is because Maya is choosing to hide that information from you in the outliner. Maya feels that you don't really need to know about the shape node. So to unlock that piece of information, you can click on display shapes. And now my transform node comes with a crosshair which I can open up, and there it is, my shape node sitting inside of my transform node. So now I can see the shape node and the transform node. I'm going to go ahead and hide that real quick because I don't really need to see that information. As long as I know, that's good. So what have we learned is that the transform node is responsible for the transformations of the object. The shape node is responsible for the shape of the object, which is dictated in this particular case by the position of the vertices. And almost any given object in Maya could be a NURBS surface, it could be a NURBS curve, it could be a camera, it could be a polygonal object, is basically made up of a transform node and a shape node.